Hi, I'm Jeremy, and I'm your host of Tell Me Wine TV, where we try to answer your questions about wine right here on the internet. And today's question was sent in from Stephanie from Red Bank, who asks about old vine wines. What are they? Are they worth the money? What does it mean? And old vine wines are wines produced from grapes where the vines are, I believe, a minimum of 30 years old. And you'll hear about vines as old as 100 years old. And the claim is that fruit that comes from these older vines make a more nuanced, interesting type of wine. And the grapes are also a little less scarce, or excuse me, more scarce, because the older the vine is, the less fruit it can produce. So the fruit is going to be a little bit more expensive, and the wine that it produces will be a little bit more interesting or nuanced, as I suggested, or as it's suggested. So we actually have an old vine Grenache and a regular Grenache from the same producer, and there's not much price difference in the two. This is an $11 bottle, and this is a $13 bottle of wine. Both are from the Langa estate. Both are 100% Grenache. And both have equal amounts of alcohol, 13.5%. The only kind of kicker to this whole thing is the regular Grenache is one vintage older, 2006 versus 2007. So we're just going to run through, like, what do we see, smell, and taste the difference between these two wines. The regular Grenache here, and right off the bat, I see a real distinct difference in the color. Where this is a kind of a deep garnet red, the old vine, the old vine Grenache has kind of a pinkish magenta hue to it. Now that's, I don't know, is that unusual? I don't know if that's unusual, but right off the bat, I don't know if we can do it. Maybe we do it like this. I don't know. Can you see the difference? So you can see they're different. They look different. All right, so they look different. All right, does that make the old wine better? We'll see. So here's the regular Grenache. The old vine, it smells more refined. I'm going to say that. For lack of getting into the specifics about what they smell, I'm getting a lot of stuff throwing out of this glass. I'm smelling more of the alcohol. Smelling less of the alcohol in the old vine Grenache. I mean, they're similar, but the old vine I'm finding to be just a little bit prettier also. I'm saying it again, less in your face. Less in your face. So now the taste. I'm just going to taste some back to back. So on the palate, I'm getting exactly the same thing I was getting on the nose, which was the old wine Grenache is a little smoother and more delicate. I don't know. I didn't really have any expectation one way or the other what would be better. It's interesting. You know, I mean, they are different vintages, and this one being older, I kind of would expect also to be a little bit more nuanced. But this one's pretty much, like I said, this old regular vine is pretty much, you know, punch in the nose Grenache, and the old wine is absolutely more delicate, a little bit more refined. They taste similar in that they're both the same grape, but the overall experience, the old vine is again, I'm going to use the word refined. You know, even though we're talking about like an $11 bottle versus a $13 bottle, there's a marked difference between the two. So if you see old vine, and in Spain, I guess it's called, you know, Centenaria. In France, it'll literally say old vine in French. And from English-speaking countries like Australia and the United States, it'll say old vine. But it's I guess it's worth it. You know, it's a different it's a different experience altogether, but it's definitely there's something more there to the Old Vine Grenache. So look for Old Vine and keep sending your questions into Tell Me Wine TV. I'll go for the Old Vine.